today is just a special day to celebrate your achievements, your accomplishments, your hard work, your community that you've built in this virtual environment, and some of the creativity that you shared in this program as well. Now, this program exists because of many people coming together to support behind the scenes. And one of the biggest champions of this program from day one has been our dean, Dr. Dale Smith, who introduced us to our partners at Foolproof, which is the platform that all of our savers have been using throughout the summer to learn vital skills and knowledge around financial literacy in the most engaging way. And Dean Smith has allowed us to have access to so much resources, to be able to hire so many amazing mentors that have worked at your side throughout the summer, and to have some of the prizes that will be going out as a result of your efforts tonight, this summer. So without further ado, I'd like to pass the mic over to our wonderful dean, Dr. Dale Smith, for some opening remarks.
Thank you, Professor DeMello. Let me start off just by thanking Jason and Darlene and our friends at Foolproof and all our LMU students, our peer mentors, for all they do in Saving It Forward. I've got to share with you that without our faculty, our staff, and our students from LMU, we couldn't even begin to make the connections and partnerships with organizations like Foolproof and other organizations that'll be represented here and some folks that you'll meet today. It's these kinds of organizations and our faculty and our students that really help us live our mission, which I've shared with you at the beginning of the program, that notion of advancing knowledge and developing business leaders with moral courage and creative confidence to be a force for good in the global community. And since this is kind of a mini graduation of sorts, I hope you'll allow me to share some advice as a business dean as you go off from this program. So as graduates of the program, students, you too have benefited from this mission because you developed a subset of skills that make you smart business leaders who can be financially savvy. And we hope that it happened kind of in a way that communicates that your new financial skills should also be accompanied by two key tenets in our business school mission. First, moral courage, the courage to do the right thing, to make good ethical decisions, and understanding when others are doing things that are unethical or taking advantage of others. Your new financial savvy as a result of the program has made you stronger in decision making. It'll help you make good decisions without ever losing sight of that moral responsibility. And you can still have fun. I think I saw that happen this past summer. But the difference between managers and leaders is something I learned from one of my former professors, Warren Bennis. And he used to share that good managers do things right, but good leaders, they seek out doing the right thing. And that certainly goes with thinking about money and finance. The second piece of advice is around the tenet of creative confidence. Creative confidence is a skill, it's an ability, but even more so, it's a frame of mind that you want to continually work on. Have the confidence to be okay in knowing sometimes you might fail. And I like to share that the words fail, the letters in fail, F-A-I-L, really just means first attempt in learning. And you can make some dumb financial decisions occasionally. I guess it's okay to admit I have, but you learn from it, and you have to be bold and you have to try new things, having the confidence in knowing you'll occasionally make mistakes, but new skills and creativity coupled with financial savvy to learn and grow will allow you to grow and prosper personally, professionally, and let's be honest, from what you've learned, it'll also help you grow your money and your wealth. So as I shared with you when I first welcomed you to this LMU FinLit program 8 weeks ago or so, learning to be smart about money is one of those valuable life skills that'll serve you well now and in the future. So is there any other last advice I could leave you with? I was thinking about it, and perhaps that last piece of advice comes from the founder of a company called Rich Dad. Robert Kiyosaki once said, it's not how much money you make, but how much money you keep, how hard it works for you, and how many generations you keep it for. Or, in the words of all of us at LMU and the College of Business, as we like to say, save it forward. So thank you all for committing to being part of the graduates who've learned the awesome responsibility that comes with managing money. And I wish everyone the best that life offers. I look forward to hearing the rest of the program and getting to know y'all a little bit more. Back to you, Dr. DeMello.
Thank you, Dean Smith. Wonderful speech and very, very true. And we really appreciate you. So um, now we want to welcome a few alumni who have worked behind the scenes. Oh, sorry, not, I'm skipping ahead. Without our main partners with Foolproof, this program wouldn't exist either. And we are joined today by Tyler Rice, who we've gotten to know very well over the last year. He is a big supporter of Save It Forward initiative, and he's a champion of financial literacy education. And he works with a nonprofit organization called Foolproof, which has been our platform for our learning. And we wanted to invite Tyler to share some words with our savers today.
Yeah, well, thank you, Jason. Thank you, Darlene, and thank you, Dean Smith. I just want to echo the incredible support that is behind the entire institution, behind this program. It's inspiring and it's incredible. And as savers, we are all fortunate to have institutions like LMU behind these kind of programs. So first and foremost, thank you. But on behalf of the entire Foolproof team, I just wanted to congratulate each and every one of you for completing this event, successfully completing the last 8 weeks. From the administration down to the mentors, all the way down to the savers, I've heard nothing but incredible things about this entire group. So that's kudos and hats off to you all. As we celebrate the last 8 weeks, there are two main ideas that I hope you take away from this program. First, that financial literacy and financial freedom requires more than a rote memorization of facts and information. Instead, it requires things that need to be practiced. It requires each and every day diligent practices that help you form habits, and those habits help you on your path to creating a financial future. So it's more than just learning skills. It's something that actually informs your day-to-day decisions and helps you make those right decisions for the rest of your life. Second, it's that these new skills and these new habits require you and give you the privilege and the honor and the ability to save it forward, to really take this and make a difference in your community, to identify issues that you see, whether that's outside of your door or outside of your state, and address those with these skills and make a difference and really feel empowered to do that, whether just in your family or otherwise. So finally, I just wanted to leave you with one last piece of information, and that's that Foolproof is going to be with you throughout the rest of your financial journey. Whether you are buying your first car or renting your first apartment, we hope that you'll go to foolproofme.org to come back and use this as a source of financial information that's trusted and that's there for you always. So with that, just thank you again for your incredible work. Congratulations on all of the work that's been done so far. I'd encourage you to finish the rest of your modules throughout the rest of the year here. And please don't hesitate to reach out with any questions that come available.
Thank you, Tyler. We'd also like to send our deep gratitude to Michael Sheffer, who's worked very closely with us and our mentors, meeting with us on a weekly basis and really making sure that we were trained on the education and on the technology. And the entire Foolproof team has just been wonderful partners in this effort. So Tyler, thanks for representing the team today. And it's so good to have you here on behalf of an amazing organization. All right. Well, the next item on our agenda, before we get to the awards, we wanted to hear from two individuals who have been working behind the scenes to make this program very special and meaningful. And it's not often that alumni of universities like this would come back, while they're busy in their career and other things going on, and just offer to help and volunteer the way that these two individuals have. And they both come from a background in finance, and they both reached out separately to say, what can we do to help this program? We heard about a financial literacy program going on, and a special thanks to Roberta Kuhlman, who works with our alumni and our community to really keep them involved and engaged in the many things that go on in our College of Business. But both Cliff Wang and Alexis Cole have stepped up, and we wanted to bring them to this ceremony, especially to talk about some of the things that motivate them and have made them passionate about financial literacy education from their own lives and their own careers, to share with our savers, their families, and our other guests today. So last year, Cliff Wang got involved with the program, and this year Alexis has gotten involved. So I'm going to ask them both to share, a few minutes of remarks about, their background and why they care about financial literacy, and any support they want to share to our savers. And then we're going to have a, kind of a panel conversation. I've got a few questions to ask them. If our savers out there have any questions to ask, you can throw it in the chat, and we can discuss it. Was there a question? All right. Well, why don't we start with Cliff Wang? Cliff is the vice president for NBC Universal and the Peacock network, and he's class of 2007, I believe.
Yeah, I loved it so much. I came back twice and graduated again in 2010. But hi, everybody. Thank you, guys. Again, thank you, LMU. Thank you, Foolproof. And thank you to all the students that made this program possible. My name is Cliff Wang. I work at NBC. I work in finance and operations. And financial literacy is super important to me because I think it's like one of the most important tools that will help you navigate the crazy world of life. And starting at a young age, I think, is going to be one of the best, I guess, value of time that can help you the earlier you start. I started learning about this stuff in college, and then I had to educate myself through it in my early 20s. And for you guys to have this opportunity to start when you're in high school, you're just going to have that much more compounding value thereafter this program. So I think that's really awesome that you guys are all partaking in this program.
Thanks, Cliff. We'll get more into some of your background and a little bit later. But next, I want to invite Alexis Cole. And Alexis Cole is also an alum, and she got involved with our program last year. And she is a CFP. She works at, she's a partner at California Capital Management. She's been there since February 2002, so she knows a lot about finance, and she's just been an incredible partner of ours, stakeholder. And she's, I'll share some more cool things that she's shared with our program a little bit later when we get into the prizes. But I want to invite Alexis to share some opening remarks as well.
Hey guys, I will keep this quick too because it's the afternoon and things like prizes are much more interesting than hearing from a 20-year-old alum. It's the reason I wanted to get involved in this program. I actually just ran across it in our alumni newsletter. When I heard about it, I was like, you know what, this is right up my alley because I am a financial advisor. So in my daily life, what I do is I help people reach their financial goals, and I help educate people on how to either optimize their financial situation or hopefully make better decisions, so that they can do things like buy a house or retire, or, help educate their children, or, help educate themselves. So that is what drew me to this particular program. And obviously being an LMU alum, I love that it's an LMU program. I am not like Cliff. I was one and done. I did my graduation and said, thank you very much. I am a CFP, which stands for Certified Financial Planner. And that's basically just means that I have like a master's degree in financial planning. So I actually got my first job in financial planning from being at LMU. I got it through a friend in a group project who knew somebody who needed an assistant when I was in college. So financial literacy to me is, very much like what Cliff was saying. You know, if the younger that you can learn it, like just the better habits that you create. And those habits, like Tyler mentioned, are just, if you can create good habits at a young age, I mean, that just like gives you this great trajectory going into your adult years, and then on and on and on. It's like a snowball effect. And you may not feel it right now, but once you get into your 20s, you get a little traction. Once you get into your 30s, you're like, hey, I'm starting to see stuff. And then 40s, which I know seems like forever from now, but it won't be, I promise you. You know, you really start to see the effects of that snowballing. So yeah, I just, for me personally, my parents were awesome at teaching me, you know, good financial fundamentals at a really young age. And so that carried me through college. And in college, I did see some friends like not making great decisions. And in my 20s, same thing. And so being a financial advisor, it's just really important to me to like help wherever I can, whether it be a paid client or a pro bono client, to get them in the best situation possible.
Thanks, Alexis. All right. Well, Savers, if you have questions, go ahead and throw it in the chat. But I have a couple questions to start with. And one of the questions, I'll start by sharing a financial mistake I made growing up. And, you know, when you get old like me, it's easy to give advice about what you wish you did when you were younger. And one of the big mistakes I made when I first went to college was I took a credit card and I didn't really understand how that credit card worked. And so I kept using the credit card thinking it was like free money, not really paying attention to having to pay that back. And so I accumulated a little bit of credit card debt early on and learned lessons the hard way and had to work really hard and take an extra job in the summer to pay off that debt. And I learned what interest is and all that sort of thing. So I'll ask our panelists, you know, as you've gained life experience, one of the best teachers of all, what are some of the mistakes or challenges that you've gone through that have made you stronger today as, you know, as a in your careers and your personal life and being able to deal with other personal finances? What are some mistakes that maybe we can have our savers avoid making if they pay attention right now?
I'll go ahead and start that. So I made a really large financial mistake when I was in my 20s. I decided to buy a condo. That was not the mistake. But I decided to buy a condo, and my parents helped me. I was very fortunate to have that assistance. And so bought the condo, moved in, and the mortgage on that condo was really more than was prudent for me to be spending. And being in my 20s, I didn't want to have like this mortgage dictate what I was going to be able to do in my life. Like I want to go out to hang out with my friends, and I want to go on a vacation, and I want to be able to you know, like just do fun things. So I accumulated debt over a couple year period. And I mean, I was at least smart enough in that credit card debt, I was able to, you know, do like a little transfer thing. So, you know, play the 0% interest rate, but it really, really weighed on me after a while. So after a couple of years, I accumulated $25,000 in credit card debt, and that scared me. And I was like, oh my gosh, how am I going to, you know, like, how am I going to get out of this? Well, for me, the way I got out of it was I sold my condo. And so I was, again, fortunate in that that condo had appreciated pretty well. I was able to pay off the debt and do other things with the proceeds of that money that were were smart financial decisions. But that taught me that I'm never going to do that again. You know, my mom had always taught me, if you have a credit card, you pay it off every month. And, you know, I had detoured from that. And I was like, nope, we're not doing that anymore. We're going to be paying off the credit card debt, the credit card every single month and staying within the means, that we have or that I have. So that was my ding dong moment from my 20s.
All right, sounds like we had a little bit of a similar experience. Great advice. Cliff, you have anything?
Yeah, I made a mistake of I was great at saving in college, doing work study and like summer jobs and whatnot. And then senior year, I ended up buying a second car because I love cars and did that. And then probably 4 months later, I ended up wrecking it. So that was not a financial decision that was great. I did get some insurance money out of it, which was, I got a second chance, I would say. And it happened to be the Great Recession at that time. So instead of trying to do anything with that money, I was like, I need to be prudent, and I invested that money, which was super low at the time in the Great Recession, and that actually ended up helping me buy my first house. So long story, it helped out, but the mistake I made originally was really not the right decision.
Yeah, it was really funny. I'm visiting LA right now. I'm in the process of moving back. Last time I think I spoke to you guys, I may have been in Louisville, Kentucky, and I've been spending a lot of time in Michigan. And I'm personally saving money to try to buy a house when I come back here. So as we've been teaching you to save, I've been trying to practice and learn some of the stuff from Foolproof in my own life. But over the weekend, I was visiting friends, and I was hanging out with somebody who's actually kind of a well-known actor. And we were talking about this program and some of the things that we wish we would have learned. And he was sharing me some advice that he learned from his father growing up that has helped him learn how to save money and accumulate wealth. And one of the things, I think when he was younger, he wanted to buy a very expensive television. And his dad told him, don't buy it with credit. He was getting all sorts of attractive deals to buy with a credit card. And his dad says, you can buy that television if you want, but you have to earn the money. And so, work. If it takes you 2 months, save up for it and buy it. And he said, one of three things will happen. One, you'll save the money, you'll buy the television, you'll enjoy it, right? Two, it'll take you 2 months to buy it. Maybe there's a better television that comes out in those 2 months, because there's always better TVs coming out, and you can buy a better model, right? Or three, you save the money and you go to buy the TV and you realize you don't want to spend the money anymore, and the television's not really worthwhile after you've worked so hard for it, and the money there's a better use for that funds, right? All three scenarios, you win. You win out, right? But it's that delayed gratification, and that's one of the lessons that we've been trying to teach in this program as well. What is wealth? I'd like to ask our panelists this question. This came out of conversation we were having earlier, and there's a difference between money and wealth, having money and having wealth. What would you define wealth as, Cliff?
For me, I actually think that when, most people, like you said, when people talk about money or wealth, it's really about money. But if you think at the root of the motivation about money, what is it really? And I've come to realize it's really more about control over your own time. Like, we want to have money so that we have the ability to do what you want, when you want it, for as long as you want. So like, for something I like to tell myself is like, time is the most valuable currency and health is the most valuable asset, because you want time to do what we want. But at the same time, when people talk about homes and all this stuff as assets, I think our own health is a valuable asset, because we can have as much money in the bank, but if we don't have the health to be able to enjoy it, it doesn't really help us. So being healthy starting at a young age really like pays dividends for your future health, because then you'll be able to enjoy the time that you create as you build wealth over time. Kind of my purview.
I love that. We don't always think about time because it passes us by and we're always so busy, but there's value in time and being able to protect your time and use it for the things that you want to use it for. And if you don't, if you're in financial trouble, you're always out of time. You're always trying to race against the clock to try to pay off your bills or whatnot. And if you're the type of person who's creative or has entrepreneurial intentions or other things that you want to do with your time, this kind of education that you're receiving can create more of it for you. Alexis, what is wealth in your world?
Well, wealth to me is is having options. And I think that goes a little bit to what Cliff was saying, but it's to me, it's about having options, and it's also to me um, being able to I want to say like accomplish those goals or priorities that you have. Being able to do whatever a priority is to you, within your life. So if that's being with your family, or if that is being able to travel, or if that's something completely different. If you're able to actually do whatever it is that priority is for you, to me that's wealth, because it's meaningful. Money by itself doesn't have any meaning, and being able to put meaning to that money, to me, is like the true wealth.
Yeah,
That's
going
great.
back on the option piece, on Alexa's piece, it's like having that freedom. Let's say down the road, let's say in your 20s, you decide that you study business and you want to all of a sudden do a career path change. If you already set yourself up with resources, you have the option to comfortably switch your career and take a different path, even if that means taking a pay decrease early on, but that gives you the option to do so.
Wonderful, wonderful. Any questions from the audience? Any of our savers or families of savers or mentors?
Would it be okay if I asked a question of the audience?
Yes, yes, please.
Okay. So I'm curious, for those who are willing to share, if you're uncomfortable sharing, absolutely no worries. But my question would be just like, what is your greatest, financial concern? And again, if you want to share, great. If you don't, that's okay. But I'd be really curious what other people's, greatest financial concern is.
See, Bryce has his hand up. Bryce?
I think one for me is just I want to be able to learn how to be financially like independent, because like right now, I'm about to be a senior in high school, and I know stepping into college and me wanting to uh obtain my business degree when I go to college, I just know that like being financially independent is very crucial and important. And I'm trying to learn right now, like just to not be so like reliant on like mom and dad, so I think that's something that this program has definitely taught me, with like the credit cards and things of that nature. And that's also something I want to learn, and something that I'm just still kind of worried about and look forward to learning more.
Well, Bryce, first off, thank you so much for sharing that. Because yeah, that's like, you're stepping into a big thing. Being in college, you're going to be a little bit more independent from your parents, physically, and potentially. And I think, you acknowledging that you want to be financially independent, I think is a great first step, because that's like a goal that you have. And then, as one of my mentors says, then you go baby steps to the goal. You can help as you evolve and get into the stage of, okay, now I'm working, now I'm doing these things, maybe now I'm getting a promotion or what have you. You can create an evolving plan that helps you to get to that financial independence. And that's something too that, for whether it's a program like this, or whether it's a friend or a family member or what have you, I would just really encourage you and anybody else out there to use your resources. Use the people around you, and in terms of like asking, hey, how do you do that? Hey, I'm considering this, like, what do you think about that? People that you feel make good decisions in, financial or are financially responsible. So hopefully that's a little bit helpful for you.
Great. Any other questions? Anybody else want to share other fears you might be having? our hope with this class, money and finances can be really intimidating. And I'll also say, this is a shout out to our mentors. Many of our mentors are not business students. This is our first year that we've recruited mentors from outside of the College of Business. And one of the reasons why this program even was created was to help teach college students about financial literacy. Because a lot of college students come into college without that education, and there's not too many opportunities on campuses to learn about financial literacy. But we use a philosophy called teach to learn, because when you teach something, you learn it twice. And so we brought in deliberately, we invited students from all across campuses, different majors, to be a part of this program. And they all worked super hard to prepare to work with our savers, going through the foolproof modules themselves. And one of the goals we have is that this topic of finance is not that intimidating. Once you get into it, and once you really start thinking about this stuff, it's all pretty practical, we hope, right? And if it's still intimidating, or if you're still struggling with it, you guys all have access to Foolproof permanently. You don't lose access to Foolproof. Once you join this program, you have access to that, and you can reach out to us if you have questions ongoing. Consider our Save It Forward team your family, and we're here to mentor and continue to coach you guys through as you go on. So any other questions? I know we have a lot of excited savers out there who want to hear the prizes. So
I can add 2 more tips on top, adding to kind of Bryce's comment. And this goes for everybody. It's just as you kind of progress through your careers, I think, Jason, you mentioned delayed gratification is super, super important. And I think another one is avoiding lifestyle creep. As you guys get into the working force, and as you guys continue to grow in your careers, you're going to start making more money. And over time, you just want to make sure that your expenses don't grow in the equal amount as your income. You want to grow your expenses slower than you grow your income. You want to grow your income a lot faster, because then you can increase the gap of savings that you end up having over time. And that helps you compound your savings over time as well.
Yeah, good point. Good point. All right, I thought I saw a hand up. Elias, did you have a question?
No, I didn't have a question. I was going to add on to the kind of financial, what's it called, troubles I'm having in the future. Is it okay if I talk about that?
Sure.
Okay. Yeah, mine are kind of similar to Bryce's, but definitely one of my biggest ones is obviously college, but also like having a car as well. Having a car isn't only just like a big responsibility itself, just not to, crash it or, mess it up or any way. But there are a lot of different kind of fees that you have to pay for it, even after having like bought the car. And there's, the gas and stuff like that. So that's kind of one of my biggest, curiosities, and just kind of trying to figure that one out too. But college also, with the tuition and out-of-state fees, and figuring out which fees I can avoid and which ones I can't. So yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, that's a great point. I'm kind of in the same boat. I'm trying to make a decision whether to buy a car or hold off right now too myself. So I share those concerns. And part of life is making decisions, right? And so what we're hoping with this program will give you a little bit more wisdom, a little bit more context to help you make decisions, and not always second guess or fear those big life moments. So, all right. Well, I want to thank Cliff and Alexis for everything you do for us. You guys are huge champions of this program, and we're just really grateful to have you as alums and as supporters of the Save It Forward initiative. So let's give them a round of applause. All right, I'm going to share my screen because I think it's time to talk about the awards now.
I think the mentors are going to get the shout out.
All right, so before I share my screen, so you can see all of the mentors full screen, we have several mentors that have joined our team. I think we doubled in size between last year and this year. And these mentors work throughout the summer to prepare the program, to work with different size groups, some as small as 1 or 2 students, some as big as 24, 25. They took on other responsibilities to help with our team in putting together the video that you guys are going to see, helping us with brainstorming prizes and all sorts of things that made this program possible. So let's give a round of applause for our mentors. All right. Well, our mentors want to give shout outs to their savers. So we're going to now open up the floor. Darlene, do you want to lead this section?
Yeah. Let's start with the currency crew. That's Daniela and Luke.
Yes, so we had 2 savers in our group, Amari and Brenna, and they both showed a lot of enthusiasm and worked really hard this whole past few weeks, and they did a great job with the modules. And one specific saver I want to shout out was Brenna. She did a great job staying on task all the time and getting all the modules done. And she also stayed after a lot of the times and worked on challenges with us, taking pictures, creating memes. So she was really engaged. And I just wanted to say thanks for working hard these past few weeks, and your work was clearly shown. So we appreciate it.
Yeah, just bouncing off of that, Brenna was always so quick to participate in all of our discussions, and she always turned in her assignments on time and was just a joy and a pleasure to have in class. So really want to shout her out, as well as Amari, for all of their work this semester, and really proud of both of them.
Awesome. Next, we will have Odu and Hallie.
So we had, I believe, the largest group of 24, and honestly, I could name off everybody, but I'd imagine we don't have the time for that. So I'll limit it to 3. I want to give a shout out to Miracle, Nancy, and Faith. Consistently, some of the top performers in my class, in my group, particularly Miracle, who participated in pretty much every challenge that we had for points. And achieved very, very, very high throughout. I remember one time she was working on one module and there was just one problem that she wasn't getting right. And she repeated it and repeated it, and she actually expired the amount of tries that she had, and she reached out to me for another one because she was tenacious and was really pushing for the 100 just to make sure that our team's overall total scores was high. And so that really stood out to me.
Awesome. We will go on to the next group, the Budget Busters.
Hi, my name is Jetica. The 3 people I would like to shout out are Christina, Ben, and Eric. For Christina, she was always super punctual, always cheery and ready to start. It was great to have her. With Ben, he was very hardworking and always on top of the modules, like super ready for class and always knew what was going on. It was great. And for Eric, we had weekly challenges that we would do. So he would always bring like funny stuff during our challenges. It was always great. And it was a pleasure to have these guys.
And also, we wanted to give a shout out to another 3 savers that we had. So one of them was Sophia. We want to thank Sophia for having participating in our classes, and every time we had like those questions or Kahoots, she was like on point, answer all the questions. I think she failed like not failed. She just missed like 1 or 2 questions on the Kahoots, which is like pretty good. So we were like really happy that she understood what was going on in the lesson. So that was pretty good. We want to give a shout out to Simone and Connor for having determination. For finishing up the modules on time. And then Simone, we're like really glad she participated. She was active, she was engaged, she was like intrigued in all those lessons. And then Connor he was busy with his outside work that he had with Save It Forward, but other than that, he was really determined to finish all the modules on time. So we appreciate him for doing that.
Awesome, thanks, Jetica and Gabe. Next, we have the Cleverer crew.
Yeah, so my group was made up of 4 students. I want to give a shout out to all of them. Lucas did all his modules on time. He was very punctual, showed up to all the meetings. I want to shout out Julie. She did TikToks and posts for all the modules, and they were all really good. Hez was always asking questions, was always present, and always stayed after the meetings to ask more questions. And Eric was always engaged with the material and always had something to add to our conversation. So I'm really proud of all of them.
Awesome job. Okay, next group is the Banking Ballers.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. My name is Judith. My group, we had a wonderful group of 5 savers, and everyone was amazing. Everyone was punctual. But I do want to shout out, we're going to be shouting out 2 of our students in particular. And I'll start with shouting out one of our savers, Mateo. He was one of the most punctual, most persistent students we had. He completed all his modules, and he was always just a team player, sharing when we did our icebreakers. If we had any questions for the group of savers, he would always participate. And he finished all his modules on time, which is amazing, and just really proud of everyone, but did want to recognize his achievements. And I'll pass it over to Josh now so he can go ahead and shout out our next saver.
Cool. Thanks, Judith. So a quote that kind of floats around in my head every once in a while is, skepticism is the first step towards truth. And that's certainly something that we embody here at Foolproof Save It Forward. We're constantly asking our savers to be healthy skeptics in both the way they think in their day-to-day life and the financial world. And throughout this program, Alfina Yule definitely embodied the idea of healthy skepticism that we promote so frequently. Alfina was constantly asking questions, throwing herself into new class interactions, and taking a genuine interest in all the information that she learned. And I just wanted to say, for Alfina and all the rest of you savers, remember that curiosity is the catalyst for new knowledge and experience, and to always chase curiosity.
Wow, that was great, Josh. And Judith, great job. Next, we'll have credit connoisseurs.
Yeah, and just for our small group, we had 3 amazing savers. We had Elias, Kalia, and Kamal, and they all were amazing to get to know. They were also, they had this willingness to want to learn, to want to exceed and excel in the material. I do want to give a specific shout out to Elias for completing all the modules on time, always being on top of everything. And also just all 3 of our savers, they were always like pushing us, not only were we pushing them, but they were also pushing us to kind of be on time, kind of with assistance whenever they needed. Like they always reached out to us, and again, it was like one of the things where they learned as much from us as we did from them. So I'm super grateful to get to know the 3 of them, and can't wait to see all the great things they're going to do.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely want to also shout out Kalia for also just asking questions and being so engaged during every meeting and staying after to ask questions. And I really appreciated that in making the virtual like mentoring session a lot more fun.
Great, credit connoisseurs. Next, we have Cash Kings.
Hi, I'm Sonali, and we were Cash Kings. We had 2 savers in our group, Devin and Sophia. I just wanted to give a shout out to Sophia for being super on top of the modules, and she completed all of them with super high scores on her first attempt, which was really impressive. And I wanted to give Devin a shout out for finishing the modules all ahead of time, always, and for being great students and participating always.
Great job. Next, we have Wallet Wizards.
Yeah, we had a great summer this summer. We had a pretty small group, but we really wanted to shout out Lucy. She did a great job and was always so excited to come to all the meetings and was always super engaged. She made sure to go above and beyond and ask kind of additional questions every week. And so we were able to help her kind of answer anything. And it was just a pleasure to have her. And I hope she had as great of a time as we did.
Yes, thank you to Lucy, Alexa, and Gabby who were in our group. We had a lot of fun with all of you this summer and learning alongside of you. And also a shout out to Alexa for asking us questions even beyond the modules so we could talk about more specific things about credit and go beyond the modules and continue learning about financial literacy. So thank you all.
Great. Next, the money team.
Yeah, so we had 3 students who were, fantastic. We kind of got to know them better, just as people as well. But one specific person who I thought was, kind of blew my mind away because he was he's going into sophomore year in high school, if I believe I'm right. And he was already thinking about college, already thinking about what he can do to get into LMU and asking us all these questions and always there on time, got the best scores in our group. So shout out to Caleb. He did really well, and I was blown away. I was super impressed. So keep doing you, and good luck with everything in the future.
And I wanted to say I'm Aurora, and I also wanted to say we did really have a great group. From the beginning, they came in with their cameras on, and they were willing to, engage and pay attention, and we definitely appreciated that. Caleb definitely stood out as far as having modules in on time and keeping us up to date, staying afterwards to ask questions. But additionally, Vic was also there as well, and he was always consistent as well, and getting his modules in on time. And Caleb also, Caleb did pretty good too, and he had the most number of perfect scores on his. So thank you. I enjoyed being with all of you.
Okay, next is Finances Lit 2021.
Yes, I wanted to thank Penelope, Zachariah, and Kayla for being such of a great group. All of them were really good with staying on track with the modules and being on time and participating, especially Kayla and Zachariah. Thank you guys. And yeah, I hope you guys learned a lot from this program.
Okay, now we have the chosen ones.
So I really want to highlight Alex. He actually went on vacation, and he came back from vacation and got all the modules done. And not only did he just do them, he did them with flying colors. I could see his pre-test scores, they clearly show that he didn't know a whole lot at times, but at the end of every module he scored really high. I think all except maybe once he didn't get 100% after the module test. And it just really showed a lot of perseverance, and I'm just really proud of him and the commitment he had to continue his education about finance, and he just did a really good job. So my wish for you is that you don't give up on don't give up on yourself in anything that you do. You're a super, super smart kid, and I'm really excited to see where you go.
Yeah, and I also wanted to highlight Alex once again. I was really impressed with his determination and really appreciated his engagement and participation. He wasn't at all afraid to ask questions when we were presenting him with the material, and again, completed all of the modules on time after being absent for a little bit of time. So I was really impressed with his work this summer.
And last but not least, we have the Saving Squad.
Hi, I'm Alyssa. I had 6 really great savers in my group, and I was just blown away every week by how engaged they were and how excited they were to learn more. I wanted to especially shout out Zoe for working hard to get 100% in all the modules, and for always being ready to speak up and start a discussion. I also wanted to shout out Ivy and Gael for always being so consistent and coming to meetings and being willing to jump into conversations, and for finishing the modules like right after our meeting was over so quick. It was so impressive to me that they were like ready to start learning again. I also wanted to shout out Adrian for always asking questions beyond what we covered in the modules and looking for new ways to connect what we are learning to other topics and more relevant things that were going on in his life. And finally, Jasmine and Alex for always being interested and very communicative when they couldn't make it to meetings, but always looking for ways to keep learning and keep up with the material when they couldn't come. This is like such a great group, and I learned so much from them, and I hope that you all had a great time and will take what you learn and just continue to be interested and curious and keep asking questions beyond the summer.
Great. Now we have a special video.
All right. All right. Thank you, mentors, for those shout outs. And it would take us all day to give shout outs to our mentors because they have been there throughout, through and through. We've got, we even have alumni who are volunteering. Who are volunteering, and some who are volunteering from overseas to be here because they liked the program so much last year and they wanted to be a part of it. So yeah, the mentors for this program are the best. All right, well, I'm going to go over our awards now, and we're going to start with a video that a few of our mentors put together. Elena and Ani spent some time compiling memes, TikTok videos, Instagram videos created by our savers. We had 8 savers who took on the challenge. I'll go over all the different challenges we gave our group a little bit later, but they got creative. You know, they got creative about financial literacy, and I think you guys are going to get some enjoyment out of these videos. So I'm going to start this. Can you guys all see my screen all right? Everybody see this good? Awesome, awesome. How great were those? Shout out to Ani for editing that all together and for all of our savers who contributed. That was really cool. We try to have some fun while we're together going through this. So, yeah. All right, so let's talk about the awards. Now, this is not school. This program is meant to be educational, but it's not school. And we certainly don't use the word student in here. We call all of our participants savers. And so part of our summer challenge came down to giving out awards and prizes and really trying to have fun with this, like a game. So some of these awards we sat down, we thought about like, how could we recognize hard work and results? And one of the, so basically we've asked our mentors to keep track of all the savers throughout and count the number of badges that they would have earned this summer, all right? Now we're still working on the tech side of this, so eventually this will all be automated, but the different badges or awards that our students earned were dedication award. That's for completing all the assigned modules and tests before the end of the program, and that turned into 100 points. It's one of our biggest awards. Punctuality, finishing each of the 8 modules on time. Excellence. So we gave a challenge to all the savers to try to get at least 80% or higher on the test for each of the modules on their first try. Now, just like in life, sometimes you make mistakes. This program gave students a chance to go back, and if they didn't get that, they could take the test as many times as they'd like to try to get to 100% or try to get to 80% if they scored lower. So we recognize perfection, but we also recognize resilience because everyone deserves a second chance, and hard work is definitely something that we recommend in here and want to recognize. We also had some fun weekly challenges, and this was to keep the teams showing up together. Each team met with their mentor once a week, and each week we issued a different challenge. So you saw some screenshots of teams with hats on and doing fun things with their backgrounds, trying to just keep this light and enjoyable. But then the last couple of awards, one of them is still up for grabs, the Integrity Award. So you guys have been given tools to learn as much about financial literacy as you can. Now we only had a certain amount of time to do that, right? 8 weeks is not a lot of time. And there's over 18 modules that you have access to now. So for anyone who decides to take us up on this challenge and complete the rest of the 18 modules, you may do so before the end of the year, and you will be eligible for a new award beyond what you're going to receive today. All right, we call that the Integrity Award. And then you saw the students that completed the challenges for the TikTok video, Instagram video, memes. We called that the Influencer Award. And why did we do that? It kind of relates to the name of this program, the Save It Forward Initiative. So the challenge to our savers was to think about people in your life, your friends, your family, anyone you know who deserves to have access to this knowledge, who could use a pointer, could use a tip based on what you've learned, and create a fun way to pass that knowledge on, right? And so we saw some great creativity in there, which I was really happy to see. All right, so based on all of these awards and points, we did a lot of math, we did a lot of organizing to see our top performers, all right? And we've got a list now of, I'm gonna show the top savers from this summer's program. So congratulations to all of these savers who earned over 300 points throughout the summer by completing all of these challenges in one way or the other. Pretty remarkable. And you all will have earned, beyond your points, there's gonna be prizes that everyone on this list has earned. So let's just take a minute to recognize that with a loud round of applause and all of the savers that worked really hard. All right, the next prize, now this is an award prize that was a really generous donation by our alum, Alexis Cole, and her firm, California Capital Management. Alexis, this came out of nowhere, by the way. This was not planned. This was not something that we had in mind all year. And just last week, received a phone call saying that this was now one of the prizes that we can give our students. So this is a really cool addition to the program. And what it is 4 tickets or vouchers, $200 value each, to Disneyland. How cool is that? So based on the points, based on looking at the top savers in the program, we allocated this prize to these 4 savers: Brenna, Kayla, Julie, and Zoe. Congratulations. You each will receive a voucher, $200 voucher to Disneyland. Let's give a big thank you to Alexis for this generous prize. Thank you, Alexis. All right. The next prize. Now this one's got a, we may have to adjust a few things around because it's, you can go to Disneyland whenever, but the next prize is actually tickets to a baseball game to see the Dodgers versus the Padres on September 11th. And this prize was also donated by Alexis Cole and her firm, California Capital Management. 4 tickets to see the Dodgers, folks. Incredible, right? We had the voice of the Dodgers at our graduation ceremony a couple days ago for LMU, and just a legendary ballpark and a great way to start the fall off going to a ball game. So for this prize, hopefully our winners will be able to go, but if they can't go, we're also giving them the option to trade it for $50. And this prize went to the top 4 savers from the Young Rich Nation team. Now the Young Rich Nation team, I'm going to give them a shout out a little bit later, but they had 4 individuals who did outstanding, above and beyond, and their points were at the top of all of our groups. So I will actually, because this one's a little bit more challenging, I'm going to have the mentors, Odu and Hallie, decide, how to allocate this one to their team. If all 4 of the Sabres want to go to the game, then they can go together. If the mentors want to take the Sabres, and then if the Sabres aren't able to go, we'll have to figure out the arrangements for this. But this was a really generous donation, and we wanted to make sure that the 4 tickets went to best use. So congratulations, Young Rich Nation, and the Sabres that were at the top of the group. All right, and the next prize are gift cards, $50 gift cards that we will send you. And these are also students that were at the top of the total points for the summer. So we had Emily, Benjamin, Zachariah, Ivy, Eric, Mateo, Alex, Sophia, Adrian, all did, I think they were all over 200 points, if I remember correctly. So they each will receive a $50 gift certificate or gift card. These students were all over 100 points, and they will receive a $25 gift card. So there's a lot of our savers. I keep saying students because I'm about to teach a class in an hour. I'm switching into professor mode, but these savers all went above and beyond as well and earned their points and will be rewarded with some gift cards. And these savers still accomplished some great things, and so they're going to be getting a $10 gift card. All right, so we looked at all the individuals across the team and then across the program, and we had several teams, as you guys heard earlier from the mentors. Now, if you remember all the different badges or different awards, one of the awards was called the Dedication Award, right? That is for if all of the savers, if the saver did all the modules on time and took the test and completed it. We only had one team where all of the savers that started out and finished were able to get through the entire foolproof program. So we wanted to give them a special thanks and acknowledgement because they set the bar pretty high. For the other teams, you guys all did great. Keep up the work, keep up the good work. And if you still have modules to go through, we highly encourage you go and do them. If you're one of the savers that wasn't able to get through everything this summer, we know it's a tough time, it's busy. So you have access to Foolproof. Please continue on. You can still win the Integrity Prize. But for the most dedicated team, this prize went to the Young Rich Nation team. So congratulations to Young Rich Nation. All right. Just a reminder, keep up the good work. You guys can still earn more prizes. Finish the rest of the 18 modules. We will check back in on you in January, and we'll have more awards to send out. Back to you, Darlene.
Awesome, thank you. I just wanted to do some formal thank yous. Behind the scenes, there's such a village, and that's so supportive of your learning and your journey. And we had some special donors, Audacious Foundation, State Farm, and William J. Amundsen. And then we also have people who, we always talk about donating, your time, talent, and treasure. So many of you donated your time and talent. These individuals donated their treasure as well. And the following people and organizations really helped behind the scenes every week to make sure that things are running smoothly